Hi, heroes. This is Stan Lee. You know, this is a really special tape that we're making now. The word legend has been so misused in our industry and in so many, but I've got to tell you that I am sitting here today with two genuine, certifiable legends, not only of the comic book industry, but of the art field and the literary field in general. And without any further ado, because I don't have too much ado to waste, let me introduce you to Harvey Kurtzman and Jack Davis. And anybody who doesn't know who these two guys are ought to give up his cassette right away anyway. But for the one guy from Mars who may not be familiar, Harvey is the fellow who created Mad Magazine, who is one of the most... You didn't create Mad Magazine.
No, that was a nod. That was a
yes. That was a nod of assent. Okay.
Right.
Because I'm so in awe of this man and so scared of him, I'm always afraid he may disagree with what I say, and that'll just totally destroy my life. Of course, Harvey's proudest boast, I'm sure, is that he and I worked at Marvel Comics, which was probably called Timely Comics at one time, and he did the world-famous paddles, Hey Look. Remember those pages?
Right.
Harvey told me today that I had made up that name, Hey Look. I always thought Harvey did, and of course I always felt the name was by far the cleverest part of the whole page. Harvey, do we have a copy of Hey Look here somewhere?
No, there's no copy on this.
This man brought everything he's ever done except the one thing.
Except the good stuff.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Now, Jack, on the other hand, or on the same hand, as the case may be, is also one of the founding artists at MAD, one of the top advertising cartoonists in the whole world, one of my favorite cartoonists. He's a Georgia cracker. He never lets anybody forget it. And Jack, do you want to just let everybody hear what your voice sounds like? The world is waiting for this moment. We were sitting here saying, what are we going to show? Jack never talks, actually. Harvey doesn't talk, and this is going to be a very easy interview for me, as you can tell.
We do pictures.
That's right,
We're
and that's what we're going
to...
You know what we're going to do? I'm going to get Jack over there to the drawing board in a little while Harvey kibitzes and while I critique, and we're going to try to make him as nervous as we can, and we're going to let you see one of the top cartoonists in the world. Well, I shouldn't say cartoonist, one of the top artists in the world at work. But before we do, let's really show some of this material we have here. This is one of Harvey's books. It's called The Jungle Book. I never knew why. I don't think Harvey knows why, but it is a great title.
No meaning.
No meaning, all right. Like most of Harvey's stuff, no meaning. I'm sure you're all familiar with Harvey's style. I mean, having seen a Kurtzman drawing once, after the feeling of sickness passes by, you get used to it and you can never forget it.
True.
All right? Now, the Jungle Book, nobody's going to have time to read it all, so we'll go on to My Life as a Cartoonist by Harvey Kurtzman. He wanted to call it My Life as a Plumber, I think, but Adele talked you out of it, right? And it's the usual stuff. The man is very shy about his work.
Usual stuff?
Every page has a sample of Harvey.
Stuff?
Well, I mean the usual Harvey Kurtzman, I'm on every page stuff.
That's better.
And what could be more apt, because it is your book. We have a Harvey Kurtzman index in case he ever gets amnesia, so he can look it up and see what he's done.
Now, well, there's Hey Look. You just passed Hey Look.
Was Hey Look in here?
Yeah. Flip the
because I'll never find it again.
The front.
In the front?
Yeah, just flip it towards the front.
Okay, I'm going. We're going to find this. There's a picture of Harvey about a year and a half ago, the artist of the issue. We're in the front here.
Good looking.
And still is.
Keep flipping.
You know, the problem is they all look like Hey Look. All right.
Well,
I tell you what to do. Oh, here it is. Here it is, everybody. Here is Hey Look, which was done for our comics. I don't notice any blurb on the top saying title created by Stan Lee, but we can discuss that.
I erased them all.
Thanks a lot.
Carefully.
I used to try to erase your signatures. We'll get to that later. Anyway, these were really, they were avant-garde, they were modern, they were hip, they were cool, and everybody loved them, and someday we ought to do another Hey Look book if we can. In fact, we probably never did a Hey Look book, did we? So it'll be the first.
Maybe.
All right.
I just lost an assignment. I just lost a book.
No, you didn't lose it. We're going to do it. All I was thinking is we never did a Hey Look book. They were filler pages in other books, weren't they? Or
That's right. What they were, as you well know, when you had to get a filler, you had a Hey Look garbage can. and you take out a page and fill in the missing page.
That's right. When there were no other artists available and there was nothing else available,
And things were hopeless.
somebody would say, what about Harvey? I would say Harvey who,
Right.
but it ended up with, hey, look. Harvey also created this magazine, Humbug, which was like mad. And this is not the newest,
No, it's
what do they call it,
falling
mint
apart.
condition issue, but at least we can get some idea about what Humbug was like. This is a book that our company, Epic, has published of Harvey's work recently, called Harvey's Strange Adventures. Incidentally, these are not ads, but I've got to show you these things because they are really wonderful. Everything Harvey does is so unique.
Wonderful.
Wonderful, and I vowed I wouldn't use
Glorious.
that word, but how can I not? And of course, here is Harvey some time ago. Let's
At
see.
work.
When was that picture taken, Harv? Do you
I
remember?
think it was taken 15 minutes ago.
It probably was, because you look the same. Okay, now moving right along, Harvey did Trump for Playboy magazine.
Two
and
issues.
This was a beautiful book. I think it was just so classy that it was too good for the general
took
public.
2 years to
right?
put out. I
It
think it
should have
took 2
been
years to
done.
put out.
And Harvey is determined. He brought so much stuff. He didn't want Jack to have any time at all. He figured if I show all of his stuff, poor Jack will just sit there. Jack is never going to talk to me again.
Yeah.
Here's a Harvey Kurtzman, Will Elder poster, which I don't want to cover your
Hey.
face, Harvey. We'll do it this way.
Hey,
It probably represents something. I have no idea. Do you know what it represents, Harv?
it's an ad.
Oh, what was it an ad for?
Are you talking about this?
Yeah.
Anything.
This was to get work with. We used it as a sample sheet,
Oh, really?
sent it around to advertising agencies.
And there's Annie Fanny right there, right?
There's Annie Fanny. How could you tell?
And to show you how stupid I am, I said, what does that stand for? And Harvey had to tell me, Will Elder, Harvey Kurtzman.
Weck.
Right, Weck. And I had no idea. Even Jack was angry at me about that. And finally, let's see. I seem to...
You poked me in the nose.
You know,
with
I'm
that.
no good at folding these. I never could fold a road map either. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Harv.
Okay.
What have we got here? Harvey also, with Will, did these ads for ABC Network, and I'm sure a million others that he wasn't able to bring today. So this is a many-faceted character. Here is one of his
Recent.
latest books, right?
Recent.
Probably the latest.
The latest.
Now, I must add a little caveat to that. If these cassettes last for 20 or 30 years, and you're viewing this cassette 20 years later, there may be another book that's more recent, and I don't want to be sued or called inaccurate. But at the time we're doing this, it's a beautiful book, Harvey Kurtzman,
Yeah,
From
great.
Art to Zap, by Harvey. My name is nowhere in it, so I'll move very quickly, because obviously it won't.
Wait a minute. I think I saw Stanley.
But it better be. I want it to be of interest to the general public, so we'll wait till we get to our stuff. Harvey, I think I'm getting, my hands are getting tired from all your stuff.
Well,
But anyway, this has been, I may sound like I'm kidding around, but this has been really a thrill for me just to hold these and to show them. It's been many years since I've seen Harvey. And this guy, you know, you've heard the expression before, but these two fellas are what are called artists. Not only does the general public love them, but every artist in the business owes them a great debt for some reason or other, mostly because they lent them money. Jack, I'm tired. Go on, you start showing some of your stuff. Will you start at the top?
Well, one thing that I'm really proud of, this
Attaboy.
was an original that Harvey did for me a long time ago. What goes way back when I was a lot skinnier. And
Just want to not get your shadow on it. I want that to really show. Go ahead.
it's so simple, and yet it has so much work in it, so much detail. It's just unbelievable. Everything Harvey does, he really thinks out. And
In that one,
this
I
is a
think you pay
classic.
for the restraint.
yeah.
And
But-
how about that little autograph up on top?
Well, that says to my buddy Jack from Harvey. But,
He meant
yeah.
Jack somebody else, but you happened to get it and figured you'd take
no,
advantage of it.
that's Jack Davis.
But I'm proud of that. I
That's a
think it's
great one.
And
How about
I do
all
a
of
lot
that
of
stuff?
promotion for my alma mater, University of Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
where Herschel Walker played and did some promotion for him with Heisman. But every year I do a billboard, and this goes to the scholarship fund at Georgia. And this was last year's, and Georgia didn't do too well, so kind of made his uniform all ragged and the whole bit. So he's champing to go.
If
And,
Georgia had done well, it would have been,
would have been a little
a
better.
different kind of
Would have been a
drawing,
little
right?
better. And then this is a book that just came out with Staber of Paul Burke, and I'm very proud of it. I think Hank Harrison, who's an unbelievable fan, he knows more about what I've done than I do myself. And he has kept up with everything, and it's come out with these books, these two
And this
books.
is Jack Davis himself, the Tip
That's
O'Neill
me
of the
down
cartoon
south.
industry, right?
That's me down south now.
And,
Looks just like Tip O'Neill.
and this is some of Jack's artwork.
Well, it's the stuff that I liked, you
Yeah,
know, and
many
it goes
different
way back,
styles.
and a lot of things that for Time
Show that
magazine,
one,
and
Love that
a little bit.
elephant.
that
You
was
know,
a
I
time
have
cover.
a Jack original. He did a cover of Howard the Duck for us years ago. You all know Howard the Duck, one of the great successes in movie history, and Jack did a painting of it for a magazine that we did, and I paid a fantastic amount
Right.
of money to get it,
Sure.
and it has
Oh,
a place of honor
What'd
in
you
my
pay
house.
me?
Didn't I pay? Wasn't it you,
You
we
did,
paid?
yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
In fact, I have to talk to you about that later on. I don't know that I have too
Okay.
many Kurtzman originals. Anyway, you have some more things there.
Well, all I've got is the other book. You know, this was the first book that came out. And I guess when all the people that know what I do is probably for Mad and for the Crypt Keeper. And that's me, myself, with a jug, which I love to, you know, have a little beer once in a while. And
Once in a
One
while.
would never suspect.
and I love the South, and I love to play golf. I'm not a good golfer, but I enjoy playing. And that's about it with me.
Now, didn't you create the Crypt Keeper and work on those at Mad Magazine?
Excuse me. I think what happened...
Not Mad, but the
no,
EC magazine.
EC, I think Al Feldstein.
Mm-hmm.
He originated these three witches, and they were three comic books. One was a horror, Crypt Keeper, and the Vault of Horror, and the Old Witch. And Al Feldstein drew the original character for each book, and then we sort of put our own thing into it.
You did it good.
I always think of you
But it
in
was
terms of
frightening
creepy, frightening witches
Well, it
and
was,
so forth.
And I didn't realize at the time, you know, what it would, what an impact it would have. And that's when they had all of the investigations, you know, and there's
Yeah, I always felt you
Washington.
single-handedly almost put a whole industry out of business.
probably
you
did.
remember
It
all
was
of that?
frightening. Yeah.
And then it went from the
Yeah.
EC magazines, the horror books, and so forth, and you all ended up
Yeah.
with Mad
Yeah,
magazine.
well, they
right?
said we should come out with, you know, the different titles, something that's clean, good, and they said, why not come out with a comic book, a funny book? So that
Yeah.
was Mad. And how the name came about, I don't know. But
Well, Harvey ought to have
Harvey
some
Pine.
idea about that.
Well, doesn't it show that?
And you also, didn't you do Panic also, Harvey?
No,
that
Panic
was-
was an imitation.
Oh, that wasn't your
that was a
But
second
you did-
edition that EC put out to kind of go along with Mad. And I think Al Feldstein was the editor of
I
that.
see.
And then never really caught on like Mad.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I just thought of this. I've never asked you before. Let me start with Harvey. Do you have any preference? You know, you did those great war stories and so forth. Do you have a preference for doing humor or adventure or, you know, serious things or humorous things?
Well, I think if you feel one way, you go towards the serious. If you're feeling good when you wake up, you go for the funny. It's all according to how you feel at the time. What's better or what's worse or what you feel like.
Well, you were always lucky enough, I guess, to do what you felt like. In my case, it was today, this is what you'd better write, Lee, if you want to keep working here. How about you, Jack?
I think I enjoy doing something funny or making somebody laugh, but I think you really got to be in a mood. I get a lot of artwork to do for advertising that I don't particularly enjoy because it's pretty little children or girls or something. I like to do things wild.
I'd never know
And,
that. I'd
yeah.
never have
No, I do.
suspected
I really
that.
do.
Yeah, really.
And I think you've got to be in a mood for it. I go to the drawing board a lot of times and don't care to draw, and it shows. You know, it comes through. But you got to enjoy what you do and go get it. And I've been very lucky, you know, with a whole bit.
I think it's so obvious that you like to do the wild
But
stuff.
as you go back, I think, like to the early Mad with Johnny Severin and Willie Eldon, Wally Wood, and my stuff just doesn't compare. It was,
Oh,
it really
Jack.
was crude and rough, but I cranked it out.
You know, he'll never talk to us again if we
Yeah.
let it go. Yes, you're right, Jack.
But I
You
cranked
didn't-
it out. I really did. Because Bill Gaines would give you a check every time he'd come in and give you a story at the same time. And God, I kept the car going back and forth from Westchester to Bill's office
Jack.
as fast as I could. And my wife would erase, some of the pages while I'm driving into to New York.
Well, all I can say is I would love to have the pages that you weren't satisfied with.
Oh, no.
And they would have a place of honor.
No.
Listen, I tell you what, this is enough talk. I mean, you guys are not public speakers, as is obvious
No,
to
that's
anybody
true.
who's been listening to this. But they tell me you're pretty good with a pen and pencil. So why don't we go over to that drawing board, you kibitz, I'll critique, and you do the work, because it's about time you
Trying
earned your
to.
keep
Okay.
around here, okay?
Very- very
Why don't
good.
we do that?
All right.
Just like old times.
Just like old times. You do the work and I'll take the credit.
Right. Super.
I'll kibitz.
And you
Kibitz.
kibitz like old times. Well, here we are. By some magic known only to cartoonists, we have gone from that table to this drawing board, and now the great moment is at hand. Jack, this is really your big chance. Nobody really believes you're as good as I've been saying you are. So why don't we start with something easy, just to kind of warm up and get into it. They tell me that you're pretty good at drawing. Let's say, what's his name, Alfred Newman? Do you want to start with Newman? Just do
David
a little sketch of
Kosnowski,
him?
I think. Do you want me to start going?
Oh, sure. Why don't you do that? I
Okay.
think everybody would like to see. Thanks a lot. And you're obliterating it completely from the camera.
just what he
You've
said.
just ruined the
All right,
entire
here we
show.
go. Let's kind of get his shape in there a little. This is what I was going to draw was that. Up in here. Just outline it, where the...
Be careful
Thanks,
now. Harvey is watching, and
I
if you
know
make
he is.
one wrong move
Come
there...
around.
I'm taking it all in.
Yeah. Got these big old ears. I'm putting Jack Davis ears on there. But Alfred is usually stamped out. And he's done a photograph thing.
You notice the awesome
music.
hush,
Nobody's got any music.
the hush that falls over the assemblage
don't have any
when
music.
you draw.
And what it is, he's got one eyebrow that's always a little higher than the other one.
And you're not even looking at this
I
drawing.
am. I'm peeking.
I'm holding this.
peeking.
You're going to do that
No,
from
I'm
memory.
peeking. I'm peeking.
I never noticed. One eyebrow is higher,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Son of
Two
a...
sides of his head are different.
And Harvey should be doing this.
Harvey,
Oh,
busy
yeah.
enough posing for it.
Right.
Down here. The nostril I didn't do too well there. Come out here, the little thing.
That's great. I'd like to have Harvey's contract. He said, you do the drawing and I'll just take the credit, and I want my name bigger than yours on the album. Remember?
Done.
He's not so dumb.
Done.
And start coming in with the little details.
Now you're shading it in. We
Yeah,
refer to
yeah.
this, we in the trade refer to this as detail, right?
That's right, yeah.
I don't want to
Put a
be
little-
too technical about it.
A little technique on that.
Oh.
And then he's got things here. I can keep jumping back because this is big.
Do you always draw with a little stub of a thing like that?
No, no.
You should see, he's working with something about that
That
big.
big, yeah.
It's strange. You're the first one who didn't say at this point, where did Alfred E. Newman come from?
I have a feeling, because you're mentioning that I should have said that, and you have just the answer for me, and I'm not going to let this golden opportunity go to waste. Hey, Harv, where did Alfred E. Newman come from?
After our little paragraph that we just passed through, I don't think I'll tell you.
Story of my life. Oh, come on. Jack wants to know. Don't do
no,
it
I
for
really,
me.
I
Do
really
it for
don't
Jack.
know. Everybody asks me, and I say, I'm sorry.
Well, here's a
I really don't.
photograph originally,
Uh-huh.
and nobody knows where he really came from. The closest I came was that he's a photograph, come back from the 1890s, and he was a photograph.
You know, you're a funny guy. You say
think
to me,
so?
how come nobody asks where he came from? So I asked where he came from, and your response is, well, nobody really knows where he came from. Now you can see why I didn't ask where he came from.
Yeah.
I want to
I'll
tell
have
you,
to
I
think
think
about
you're
that.
funnier when you're being serious,
That's what my wife...
which isn't that often. What about
Which
you?
is-
Oh, hey, are you finished?
Yeah, good
Wait a
enough.
minute.
I mean,
Now
I
Harvey
didn't bring
is
any
going to
colors.
autograph it,
All right.
and everybody notice this signature. And what does that signature represent, as if we don't know, Harvey?
Alfred E. Newman.
No, that's Harvey Kurtz, and then you draw a little man, which represents the last syllable of your name. Did I articulate
Isn't that clever?
perfectly? I think so. And did you first do that when you were doing Hey Look?
Yes, there's no doubt about it.
You notice I try
He
to
could never
always get our little
yeah.
stamp in
He
on
could
all
never
these
spell
things.
M-A-N.
Yeah, it's not easy to spell. Cartoonists have never been known for being good
That's
spellers.
funny.
What?
Oh, what Jack just said.
That's right.
Oh, sure, it's funny what you just said. You notice I get no reaction at all from him.
Oh, you're funny all the time.
Oh, it was like pulling teeth to get it out of you.
No, actually, Jack is a very funny guy.
Jack is much
That's
funnier.
right.
To know
He's
him
a
is to
real-
laugh.
Hey, that is great, Jack.
Well,
that
thank you
really,
very much.
And you did that right out of your head, right?
Surely.
Son of a gun.
Look at all that.
Okay. Well, you sure make it look easy. Now, what's he doing?
Jack Davis.
Is that the way you sign it, Jack?
No,
How about signing it? Let's see what your signature would look
All right,
like.
this
huh?
way. Are you ready?
Oh, Jack's got a signature.
That's right. That's right.
I can't
Look at
read
that.
or write.
Look
All
at
I
him
do
go.
is draw.
Well, you're known for
Big.
your signature. People buy the artwork in order to get the autograph. I've
That's
heard
right.
that
That's
all
true.
over. Yeah.
Want me to do one more?
You better not stop. I think we have another
This is
half
a
hour
ten.
to kill or something.
All right.
All right.
Let me
Listen,
see.
I hope
gotta
the
think of
people
something
watching
ugly.
realize what a treat they're in for. Very few
Camera
people
man.
get a chance to
Okay,
see
then.
your shoulder in front of the camera
Right.
for 25 minutes. What are you doing,
Looks
Jack?
good.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, don't blow it now. You're ahead of the game now. I would stop right now before you ruin it.
That's what I'm trying to do.
What's the kid doing?
Well, I'm gonna find out.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not sure that
Wait a
I'm happy
minute.
about this.
I think it looks like
It is. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Superman.
Son
Guess
of a
who?
gun.
Now, y'all talk because while I'm
All right,
drawing,
well-
I really can't talk.
Well, you know, we're not too good at making conversation, but we're going to do our best. That guy is beginning to look strangely familiar. And if it's who I think it is, would you like me to strike a more noble pose?
yeah.
I mean, I want you to get me at my best.
That's
you
great.
Know?
That looks super.
Oh, my gosh. I'm getting a Jack Davis caricature?
yeah.
Ooh-wee. I would have worn a tuxedo.
Well, son of a gun.
Oh, Harvey, don't be
Man.
jealous. That's okay.
Oh,
I'll let you look at it from
Don't-
time
I wish
to
I
time.
could do that. Here, we'll get this out of the way.
Oh, I've got to invite you back more often, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it upside down, and it
Are
looks
you?
good. I can
Okay.
imagine when I
Got to
finally
put
see it
some more
straight.
wrinkles in there.
Thanks a lot.
You know.
Well, couldn't you sort of draw me the way I imagine I look? Let's see.
That's very
Oh,
good.
hey, I love it. I love it.
But this is a quickie.
But do you have that certain air of nobility and oh, je ne sais quoi about it?
Said what?
Make it look good.
I think you do. You make it look too easy.
Well,
He has the noble
think-
brow, the...
I think he deserves.
No, wait, I ain't through, Harvey. Yeah, look at
I ain't through, Harv. Does it
See,
look
this
macho
is
enough?
like a
Harv?
rough, you know.
Uh-huh.
I mean, then I would come back, you know, maybe and tighten things up.
Oh, no, you don't get
whatever.
another invitation. You tighten
know.
it up now.
Come out here in a limousine,
I mean, we may have some other legends we want
wait
to
at
do
the
for that.
airport for about 3 or 4 hours.
Did you have to wait at the airport?
Well, no.
Did we have to wait at the airport?
Listen, I'm going to fire that Volkswagen limousine if they don't
That was
get more
probably my
prompt
fault.
from now on. And you're known for those kind of feet, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Harvey, do you have special feet that you draw the way Jack does, or are your feet not?
No, my specialty is hands.
How do you draw your hands? I mean, what's special about
Harvey is a fantastic artist.
hand artist or just in general?
Hands up. Anything he
I'm
wants
not
to
prepared to demonstrate today.
No, but I can always spot a Davis drawing, no matter how you try to hide
do. I'll
it.
do you a better one and
Those
send
feet.
it to you.
Well, you'd better. Oh, but I think that's great.
Looks just like you.
Son of a gun. I mean, here I am. I'm supposed to be the host of this thing, and I'm supposed to be very sophisticated and cool, and I feel like, you know,
Well,
some
you have-
excited fan. This is really
here you go.
wonderful. What? Another couple of wrinkles.
One
Thanks
more.
a lot. Yeah, I really appreciate
Put some of
that.
these things
That's
up on
right.
their
Thanks
head.
a million. Oh, that's great. I should have
Now-
told him to
And you
stop
got,
earlier.
you know, there's a bag.
Yeah, anything you do
There's
from
a
now
bag.
on is going to make it
There's a
worse.
bag.
I hate you.
Then here's a fly.
Uh-huh.
There's a fly.
Now,
That's it.
Oh, Jack, the signature. Now I want a big autograph.
All right. Look at that.
Oh, man.
V-I.
S.
S.
I
Oh,
think it's
S.
followed by an S.
Okay.
Oh, this will pay for my retirement someday. That's wonderful.
All right,
Thanks
super.
so much,
No
Jack.
problem.
You know, the only problem is, what can you possibly do to top this? We might as well stop the tape right
I can
now. There's
sing.
nothing-
Want me to sing?
No, I think we better do some more drawing. Harvey,
You
do
got
you
it.
have a suggestion? What would you like the kid to draw? Oh, wait, he's still touching me up.
No, I just had to put a little sideburn.
Jack,
I don't know,
you're
Jack does
very
everything so well. And he's fast. He's fast. If you're in the business, you can appreciate Jack. He's lightning fast. He draws like nobody I know.
Harvey, you know, when you say that about being fast, that's so true, because when you're a commercial artist and you're working and you have assignments, you not only have to be good, but you have to deliver on time. And there are a lot of guys who can do good work if they spend a year on the illustration.
Well-
but when you get guys like
Yeah.
you two who can do it and do it quickly, man, that's the best.
When I was doing the covers for Time,
Mhm.
you would go in and they would give you the Time cover on a tablet with a red border
Yeah.
and Time up there. And you'd sit down with a 2B pencil that they'd give you, or an eraser or whatever, and they'd tell you the ideas of the cover of that week. And I would sit, you know, in their office, in the art director's office, over on a couch or somewhere, and do off these things, and they'd take them into the edit, and that was when news would change real quick. So you had to really produce.
Yeah.
And I think when in the early days with EC and Mad, because I cranked it out so fast that it kind of comes natural,
Yeah.
you know, to do it.
Yeah.
I got it, and you put it down. But
You get it in
but
your
this
head
is,
and it gets
this
down
is
on the
crazy.
paper.
I mean, I'm not a good artist.
Yeah, I've
in any
noticed
way.
that.
No, I'm
We've
not.
all noticed that, Jack, and you're giving ample evidence of that. All right, this one I'm going to take and guard with my life.
Can I
Harvey?
wash my hands somewhere?
Oh, this must always happen to you. Well, you better not wipe it on my drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Now, what do you say? Harvey, you give a suggestion. Go on, you got to earn your keep around here.
Oh,
What
God.
should the kid draw?
Jack, let him draw a Southerner in
Well,
a still.
What I'll do is draw you a
Make it-
Confederate soldier
Uh-huh.
in a cavalry charge.
Oh, great. Hey, do you remember you did a newspaper strip? What, Beauregard.
Beauregard,
Remember?
yeah. It was a big
Beauregard?
flop.
And I
was a
loved it.
big
It
flop.
was so good.
And I
was-
wrote it myself,
That's
and that's
right.
why it was
Maybe
a
that
flop.
may have had something to do with it. But, oh, man, that artwork. Are you drawing Beauregard here?
No, I'm
Just
just
as
doing
any
one of my
soldier.
Confederate soldiers.
It was a flop, but it was in the papers. You had a number of newspapers for a while, didn't you?
I think it started or something, and then people took the Civil War serious or something.
Yeah.
They thought that probably it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, it was
Yeah.
so good, though. Have you ever thought of doing a newspaper strip since then?
No.
No?
Because, and again, I'm saying this because I think too many people get involved. The drawer, the writer, I'm not a writer in the publishing.
Well, I want to tell you
And
something.
I do what I do, and I think the good Lord let me, fall into that, because I would hate to think I had to get into a routine of just doing one thing and coming up with something that I probably couldn't do well or whatever.
Well, I'm sorry you said
Somebody
that.
else-
I was just about to say that if ever you'd like to try one again and want to work with a writer, I might know a guy who might, if you twist his arm,
Yeah.
be willing to write it with you,
Really?
to pay for that
No.
caricature you just did.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harvey, what were you going to say?
I forgot.
Yeah, well, one
He
tends to
talked
do
so
that.
long,
Yeah, I know.
it erased from my memory. I was going to say that Jack should do, in addition to the Confederate soldier, he's very good at the guys who make
Crayon broke on me.
guys who
Well,
make
mess up this
booze.
whole table for me.
What do they call
Guys
it?
who make what?
Booze.
Oh, moonshiners.
Moonshiners.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jack
Well, sure,
is
nobody
very-
would take umbrage at that, except a
No.
fellow moonshiner, and there aren't too many of them. Harvey, you
So
feel like
is-
writing one?
Writing?
Yeah. You write, don't you? You've been known to
Sort of,
write a little bit.
but I never write in public.
I love to cause trouble. I love to get guys who, and it's the last thing they expect, and the first thing you say to them is, hey, how would you like to do this or that? And sometimes, just an idea you get suddenly, it could turn into something great. Of course, in my case, it never does. But, if you guys ever wanted to work on a newspaper strip, I'd sure love to discuss it with you.
Well, thanks, but no thanks.
Okay.
No, I'm getting older.
Yeah,
I'm
all right.
67 now.
All right, I'll have to do my
no,
own.
really, and I just
We're both getting
I'm not-
older.
it's
Well, it's the syndicate's loss, I'll tell you that.
well, I don't know. I tried, couldn't get it.
Oh, one crummy try. You have to fail 5 or 6 times before you get a successful newspaper strip. Hey, this is terrific.
Well, thank you.
This is what you don't call this a real serious illustration, though, do you?
No.
No, I wouldn't say so.
I'm not a.
Would Time
If I
magazine?
had to, I could probably do some stuff. But,
I've seen you
I
do
just,
serious stuff. In fact, that book of yours and some of my good stuff, it seems to me you have some serious things in here, as I remember. Of course, now that I
Could be.
said that, I won't find any,
yeah, it's always a way.
but there were a few, as I recall. You keep drawing. I like how casually you mentioned, well, when I was doing those Time covers. And
Right. I had 36.
most guys who've done Time covers would sort of make sure that they mention that right up front and very
Well,
loud.
I did.
Huh?
I snuck it in there.
Yeah, you did. You managed to, come to think
No,
of it.
that's my high watermark, really. That was a big thrill to work on something, start on a Monday, and then
Yeah.
the next following Monday or something like that, go to the newsstand and see that on a big cover.
And you really did have to do them quickly, huh?
Yeah, I would do the finished cover in one day.
Yeah.
Now that's
Well, these
considered
aren't too serious,
Now,
but
that's
I think
from
I-
Matthew Brady,
Yeah,
and
Kim,
I
those are
improvised on
beautiful.
Matthew Brady's
Those
with
are
the detail.
beautiful. Yeah.
That's pen and ink, and no way I'd work like
Yeah.
that now because it's just a little.
You'd rather get your hands dirty with this charcoal.
And I think
right?
if you do pen and ink, you've got to warm up and practice at it.
Is that so?
A while back,
Yeah.
I tried to do some pen and ink, and came pretty hard. And it's like in the old days when you would do penmanship and do circles and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd get that hand going, and then I could do it. But I don't know whether you're getting older or I don't do it enough.
I can just picture you at home. Now, hand, I want you to get going. Now, don't fail me. We got this cover to do, right?
Put a
Jack, is that 6 fingers I see?
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, the other hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So
7
you,
fingers. No, I don't.
That's not, these aren't fingers.
No, I know.
No.
Put a little.
Harvey likes to cause trouble.
Yeah, I know it does.
You are the
Well-
sloppiest cartoonist I
I know
have
it.
ever seen.
And I never clean up my studio. I
Why
have
don't
to-
you use one of these things?
I don't know. But
Jack
there you
is
are. That's
clean.
decent.
Oh, that's
Wow,
great.
I'm not a Superman
Yeah, well,
comic
Well,
anatomy guy.
this guy, listen, I couldn't ask you, of course. You have a few minutes left. How about doing a Time cover? I think that would be a little
Okay.
bit too.
Do one on Bush or something.
Hey, go ahead. Can you do
No, I wouldn't.
Bush?
I probably could. I've never tried.
Well, do you think the people
I've
watching this
never
would love to
tried.
see you try something you've never
You've
done?
never tried?
Do
Even
it.
if you fail, it'll show
You
you're
had-
human.
What did you have? 25 minutes, and now
We
you've
have,
got-
I would say we have 10
We
minutes.
got 1 minute.
We have 10 minutes, Jack.
Okay.
All right? Here we go. We're going to do Bush.
you can draw the whole cabinet in that time.
I gotta think of Bush.
Now, of course,
And
this
he's
he's the president.
I know. But you see these editorial
Uh-huh.
cartoonists that
It
draw
looks like him
Bush,
already.
and this is almost what I'm going on. He's kind of like himself. I mean, not like you, but he's got the big chin and the whole bit. But I don't like to do ugly pictures of somebody.
Oh, you
I
son
really
of a
don't.
gun. If
Now,
that
this may
crayon
not-
holds out,
I got some more, but
what did you say before? You never cleaned your studio?
I do. I just
You do?
kidding.
Okay, I was really worried
I
about that.
couldn't get in it if I.
I can picture a studio filled
Yeah.
with all of this stuff later
No,
on.
pretty much.
Oh, Jack has great
Hey,
studio.
that is great.
Okay,
And you've
now,
never done
he's
that
a-
before?
No, I never have, and I think he's got something down.
Bush is going to get you for this.
I know he will.
No, it's actually great. You're right. You don't make them insulting. They're funny.
I hate to...
You capture the person, but they're
Because
not.
some of these editorial cartoonists, they really
Oh,
take
I
some
know.
cheap shots.
I know,
I mean,
yeah.
it's frightening that he can't come back and draw one of them. I don't know, but
How do you know we can't?
he can do almost anything he wants because he's a president.
He could hire you to do a cheap shot,
Yeah.
couldn't he?
And here, he loves to fish, I know.
Yeah. What do you call that thing you're using? A grease pencil
It's a
or
Conte
crayon?
crayon, it's not
Conte
charcoal.
crayon? It's not charcoal.
It's not quite as messy as charcoal.
Well, I'm surprised you don't use charcoal because you seem to enjoy the messiness.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
But-
a hand, and I didn't do that hand too well.
Well, Harvey's
Put some
counting the
wine.
fingers, so be
I
careful.
know, and that's-
1, 2.
He was very particular about it.
Yeah.
Now, here's what he caught.
That's the fish he caught.
That's a fish.
You're known for your fish. People far and wide will talk
Really?
about the fish you draw. Yeah.
And I'm
fish.
catching them down south now. And I've never been a real fisherman, but I'm catching bass and trout and
Hey, that is
just
sensational.
scrabble. But
Think
I
you ought to
think,
send
you know,
it to him?
Huh?
Think you ought to send it
No,
to
no.
him? He'd
I
probably
wouldn't do
hang it
that.
right on the White
Wouldn't
House.
do
He'd
that.
probably love it.
But
Want me to send it to him? I'll send it to him
No.
if you want. Harvey, do you want
No.
to send it to him?
To
I'd
Bush?
have to
Yeah.
do him a better one.
No, I don't want to send nothing to Bush.
No, don't
There
send
you
a
go.
better one. This is more spontaneous.
All right.
All right. Now, this could be a time cover if you tickled it a lot, right? And
Yeah.
added a lot of stuff to it. And
Well, you know, then
shaded it in.
but what's so great, I think, at time, they have a place where they can give you a picture of anybody, any position, expression, or anything.
Wow.
A file that they can put that in, and
Good artist.
so you can't
has-
miss. But I'm not really a caricaturist, you know. do
Oh, we can
caricatures.
see that.
No, I'm serious. I don't. But if ever, you know, have on hard times, I know there's a bar, you know, down in Brunswick. I can go and sit and get people drunk, and then do caricatures of them, and they think it's good, and I
And
get
pay
paid.
for your drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and
So
that
that's
helps
about
a hell of a
the best
lot,
I can
doesn't
do.
it, with the budget?
Best
I
I
know
can
how
do.
it is. Now, I tell you what, you still have a little crayon left, and your hands are dirty already,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter. And I can see you're wearing the kind of sweater that you can wipe your hands on your sweater, and nobody is ever going to know.
true, I
That's
never
pretty
even
clever.
thought
Oh,
of
come on,
that.
you thought
Yeah.
of it. But we have about 5 minutes
Put
to
some
go.
on my hair.
Jackson, how would you like to do one more? And this will be the one you'll be remembered by, because this is going to be the finale. We have 5 minutes to go. What can you do that would take about 5 minutes to do? We'll get Harvey to sign it again.
I'll
And-
sign it. I'm
All right,
good
well,
at
Harvey
signing.
loves signing your stuff, or anybody's stuff.
I'm just trying to think,
Something a little different, perhaps?
like a what?
I don't
You
know.
never
running
did
out.
my...
Wait a minute. Do you want to do a caricature of Harv?
All right. Well, he's sitting there.
Because he's difficult to caricature.
He is.
When a guy's features are perfect.
I mean, when he's ugly, you don't want to make him ugly.
That's
you know
right,
what I mean?
that's
you try
right.
and make him handsome, and
going
that's not him.
You can't, Harvey. Read the contract again. Okay, now
5
this is
minutes on that.
It
HK.
was hard as the nose.
Yeah. It's hard for
Comes
him,
out
too.
like
He's
that.
got to carry it.
That's
Come
right.
back here.
He's got to live with it.
And he's looking down.
I know.
Look up.
Well, he doesn't really
You mean
want to
looking
see
at
what...
His hair coming down over here.
Incidentally, take your time. You have to stretch this out for 5 minutes. Or else
Work.
you'll have to get another assignment.
Work on the nose. That'll give you minutes.
But Harvey and I've been over in Europe at Stars and Stripes, and didn't we do something like this
Yeah.
one time?
We've been in a lot of places, Jack. Oh, I think you ought to
Little
talk
bit is-
about the... if you can concentrate. Can you?
Well, he can't draw and talk at the same time. You know that. Or chew gum. What do you want him
Oh,
to talk
man.
about? The mad
Well,
junkets?
the mad junkets, which are very interesting.
Well, Bill Gaines, who's about the most generous publisher that ever was, and a great, great man. He loves good food. He loves good wine and
good
the whole
times.
bit. And for, I guess, about the last maybe 20 years, he takes all of the artists and writers on a trip as a bonus. And we never really get to see each other until we get on these trips or at a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And a lot of people live different places. But we all... we've been all around the world. The only places we haven't been is to Australia. But we've been to Bangkok, been to Russia and Thailand, and
Well,
Keep
that's
the
a
really
whole
great.
bit. And everywhere we go, he makes sure that they have good food, good booze. And it used to be with just the just the men, but now he's bringing along the wives, and that kind of kills things. But
Oh, they're going to love
and
you for saying
Sergio,
that.
and Sergio,
Yeah.
who
We did an interview
yeah.
with Sergio.
and
Yeah.
Sergio, we went to Mexico, and he got us to fight a bull. I fought a bull.
Are you serious?
Sergio's a good bull
Who
fighter.
won?
Well, a bull. No, I'm kidding. It was a baby bull. And
I
it
can't
was an
picture you fighting
arena,
a baby bull.
And he took us out of Mexico to this restaurant where the matadors work
Keep
out.
going. You don't get off that easily.
All right. And he got a baby bull.
Uh-huh.
And we all went down into the dressing room where the matador would instruct us how to fight the bull. And he gave us all leather capes, not silk capes, but leather capes. And
Was that to protect you?
that was to protect us.
Against the itty bitty
And then he gave us
Baby bull.
he gave us chaps, leather chaps to wear. And a couple of
You must
guys
have been-
backed out, started backing out, and then they had an altar in there, where you could say a prayer before you go out and over there.
You were living a fantasy.
Oh, and I'm telling you, but it
Oh,
was a
me-
thrill. It
that's
was really a
great.
thrill, and the music started, and we marched out into the arena. Thank
Uh-huh.
God there wasn't a lot of people there, but I could see the hoofs under the door, of the bull.
Yeah.
And they
Excuse me, we have a minute and a half
they
or
picked
so.
me first to fight the bull.
Why you first? They
I
want
don't
to
know,
get
because
rid
I
of you
was
first. You're
about
reading
the
too much.
tallest and the most awkward. So what they did, they opened the door, and out ran a donkey.
Oh, gee, that's funny. And the donkey beat you.
Yeah, ran all over me. No, but then they let out a bull.
That's great. I wish I had been there. Incidentally, are you making Harvey look better than you made me look? I think I was. Uh-oh. This is getting really interesting now.
Yeah, what are those shapes?
Is Harvey painting an outfit on her?
Am I smoking a cigar?
No, I think that's a crayon or a pencil. And she looks very happy about the whole
See,
thing.
I can't draw girls good.
Looks a little like a Kurtzman type
Looks
girl.
pretty good to me.
Then you put the finishing touch on it, Harvey, somewhere.
The finishing touch. Wait a minute. Where's my pen? I can't work with a Conti crayon.
You did that without even looking at the guy. I think you know him pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
What's he writing there?
See, now I don't know how to do it.
I hope the camera's catching that, whatever it is. It says Jack
Davis.
I loused it up.
But that's not. Don't you want to put a little Kurtzman also?
Kurtzman.
I mean, this thing, the next time Sotheby's has an auction, this will probably go for 20, 30,000. You don't know. S.
C-U-R-T-Z.
You trying to say something? Well, I think that's very nice.
Guys, I
I'm
can't.
going to take it home and I'm going to frame it.
1992.
That's great.
Hollywood.
You've finally been able to prove
I
to
can
the
spell.
public
No, I
that
got-
you really can spell and that you really draw.
See, I
right?
messed it up, and then nobody can tell what I really wrote. I put a better button there.
Oh, now it's finished. Now you got
That's
it.
it.
And Annie Z. Annie question mark.
Anywho.
Annie?
Annie?
Listen, fellas, I got to tell you, this has been
Boy, that was a lot
a
of work.
rare treat. And to have two legends. Do I really have to shake your hand? Well, I'm going to show you how I feel about you,
Harvey.
Jack, even with that hand.
All right.
It's been great.
It's
I
been
loved
good.
every
Yeah,
minute
yeah.
of it. Harvey,
Good.
thanks so much for coming.
How do we get home?
And I'll find out. And thanks for proving to the world at large why this series is called The Comic Book Greats.
Great.
Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you.
And don't
Thank
worry,
you.
You're a
I'll
good
get you
man.
home.
You're all right. Always been
Well,
good.
after me teaching you guys how to draw and write and everything, I should
That's
think you
something,
say that. Son of a gun. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of
What's
myself.
happening?
I forgot to say it all.
My eyes are
You're
going.
going blind, I know.